and we are just excited to be here to talk to you again today. So as always, subscribe. We want to build our viewers to the highest point that we can get because we just love you guys. So today Amy, I'm still on the ice here. So I don't know about you probably don't have any ice where you're at still.
No ice. I have, but I'm sitting in my office with both of my dogs. They're wrapped up in blankets, and I have my little heater right here. So if my dogs start barking, I am so sorry. I should put
Well,
them up.
that's
Anyway,
okay. It's very obvious if my dogs start barking because they bark all the time.
yeah,
So I know it's crazy, but we're supposed to get more sleep today.
you are so lucky. Sorry,
Are we? I don't think we are.
I'm kidding.
I think it is not lucky, and I'm so ready to be out
I'm sorry.
of the house. I know. I mean, as
Well,
much as I love my family, I'm ready to see other people.
I can understand.
I know. So are your roads, are they you don't have anything on your roads?
I don't. Our roads are just fine. I can get in the car, but to be honest with you, it's like I wish I had one of those keyless things, or I have a keyless to unlock my car, but I don't have one of those that crank the car and then
Yes.
warm up, kind of thing. So I have chosen to just stay home and
That's smart.
yeah. So wash clothes, all that sort of stuff, and work. I work on my computer. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm ready for the beach. I cannot stand it here.
where are we going?
I know we need to go soon.
Yes, that would be great. It's gonna be cold down there
I
too.
know. We went a couple of years ago this same time.
Yeah, it was great too. And
It
we
was.
had a friend that's from Michigan. She came down and she said that they don't get sun like this time of the year, like for 2 or 3 months. And they just have, snow and, ice and all sorts of stuff. And so when we were down at the beach, he was sitting out like strapless shirt. It's like 20, 40, 30 degrees outside or something like that.
Yes.
Out there
And
sunbathing,
I
She's
know
like,
we
oh,
all had
yeah.
our hoodies on and sweatshirts, and she was out there in her tank top.
I had my hand warmer. I was out there. But, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy. But good times. That's always good.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay, so today, guys, we're going to talk about boundaries. And I know you probably saw at the beginning where we were doing our little boxes with our do. But yes. So just with boundaries, it's kind of like every day you interact with different people, and um sometimes people say things that really, once they say it, it offends you, but then you can either choose to say, hey, that really offended me, or like I've done most of my life, I just kind of just kind of laugh and just kind of go forward with it. Well, like how do you set your boundaries, Amy? Like, is there something that you do when somebody says something that offends you?
Well, it all depends on who it is. And you know, I I really since I've gotten older, I'll be honest with you, I don't let things slide off my back as much as I used to. When people say stuff to my face, I'm more prone to uh turn it around on them and either defend myself or say, what exactly do you mean by that question? Or what did you mean by that? And then it puts them at a, where their ball is in their court and then they're juggling. And because
Right.
they realize they've overstepped the boundary with me. And I try to be very kind and but I remember as a young person, I remember saying things just um, be laughing and saying things to people, and they would do that to me. And it did, how it makes you feel. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't know
Yeah.
what to say. you know, and a lot of times when people say stuff, they, some people don't have filters. Some people
Yeah.
just say what's immediately on their mind, and then, you know, they realize you have a choice. You can either let them get away with it or turn it back on them and
Yes.
make them understand in a certain way that, you know, not in a mean way. God does not want us to be mean, but it's okay to stand up for ourselves. You know,
Yes.
we don't realize, but we're children of God. God created us, and He did not intend for us to be a doormat to anybody. He did not intend for us to be walked on and, you know, for somebody to run over us. Did not intend for that. But He did
Right.
say, you know, that we are to speak the truth in love to people, that we are, you know, to make peace with people, to be all times peace, you know. And so I believe you can make your point without, you know, being hostile, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, you can be constructive, like if you're using it for, constructive criticism, like if they're doing something multiple times to multiple people, and then they're wondering, why do all these people not want to be my friends anymore?
Mhm.
I mean, that is helpful, but like if you're, I was talking to Amy before this, and my whole life, I feel like I've been on the defensive for, like, for instance, if somebody says, why were you at this certain place? Then I would backstep it to where, I made myself look good because I didn't want to have the guilt of somebody trying to, put me down. And recently I've just kind of learned that I do that with almost everything. And I think it's because I got in trouble a lot when I was younger and I didn't like it. So I still did those things, but I always tried to cover it. And I think also, this is what I've learned too. You talk to different people different ways. There's different areas of respect, and like me and Amy, we're really good at talking back and forth. And Amy will sometimes ask me, "Well, what did you mean by that?" And I'll, you know, like for instance, today I went and responded back to a text, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just was on the defense again." And so I have to learn. I mean, I am 50, almost 54 years old, and I still haven't learned to kind of stand up for myself because I think I've just been beat down. And
Well, it's amazing, Brandy, how things of your past or your childhood, sometimes we don't change from it. Those patterns still like reflect in your adult life. And I think when I started, I mean, I'm going to be a sassy old person. I'm just going to be honest with you. Because when I turned about 53, I had enough because um, my family would say things to me, and like, okay, I'm just gonna say this, but all right. So I had a family member say to me, gosh, your butt is so big. Well, the old patterns of hearing that as a young person, okay, it's hurtful.
mhm,
And then you get to an age where somebody says something like that to you, you know that you're fat, you know that you need, it's no new information, you know that's about yourself. You don't like being at that place of weight. And when somebody brings it to your attention, you know what I did? And when they said that, I turned around and looked at them and I said, you know, that really hurts really bad. I know where I'm at in my life. I know that I need to get control of this, of this body. I know, I know that that probably bothers you, but I promise you it bothers me enough. And I really don't need you to remind me of where I'm at. I really need for you to support me. And when I said that, I mean, it came out flying before I even, and I'm so thankful because my words were, I did not say it hostile or anything like that, but it did come out. And from that point on, this person never said anything like that to me again. And I spoke the truth in love. But it was a hurt that came up out of me too. So past things, these things, they can come up, and it's just kind of a pattern that comes up into your life, and you've got to make up your mind, how you're going to handle it, if you're going to change or not, if you're going to start protecting yourself, if you're going to start getting boundaries and not letting people encroach on those boundaries. And if they do encroach on those boundaries, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, well, and that's kind of like just things that have been said in passing to me. For a long time I took it, but I have noticed that we do default back to like our old habits. And I think to change that, each time somebody says something to you that's hurtful, just be a little bit more bold in saying something, just like Amy was saying. Maybe not, like for me, I couldn't go full out and say that, what Amy said, just because that's like stepping really out for me. So I could say, like if somebody said the same thing they said to Amy, I could say, please don't say that anymore. And that would be like one little step that you could take. So, if they didn't get it the first time that you said that, then maybe the next time, bring something out a little bit more to where, that really hurts my feelings when you say
I
that.
think I think that's a problem though, when you say, please, please don't say that, because some people come at it as, oh, they'll keep on doing it. It's like,
Okay.
they'll keep on doing it because they know what your hot button is. It's kind of like a child, when they know when you say don't do something, what do? They keep doing it. I've got a friend, drives me crazy. He will do that to me. If I'll say, don't say that to me. Like when I got married, people were saying, they were calling me Mrs. Doc. This one guy was calling me Mrs. Doc. And he kept saying it to me. It is my now brother-in-law. He kept saying it to me. I said, do not call me that. And he kept doing it. He kept doing it and he kept doing it. And I warned him by saying like 3 or 4 times, do not say that to me again. He kept doing it. And I finally looked at him, and that's the problem. That's the problem. When you don't protect yourself, or you don't engage and give more explanation of saying, don't call me that because it makes me feel,
Yeah.
when you leave it, when they can sympathize with you about something and understand who you really are and why that bothers you so much, then they may have sympathy for you. But if you just say, don't do that, they're going to keep on. And my brother-in-law knew really quickly, because I blew my fuse. So you don't want to get to that point, do you?
No, no.
That's the problem. I feel like you need to set up the boundary and say, this is the reason why it bothers me. And you know what? The thing is, Brandy, is that when we do that, there's such freedom that we experience from
Yes.
being honest about something. There's a freedom about it.
Well, also, and just like me and Amy were also talking earlier, I messaged 2 people before we got on this podcast, and I was asking them the same question, but I worded it differently for the different people. So you kind of have to judge your people, and some people are easygoing. And some people are just a little bit more strict, and So, don't be bowled over by people, but also like my wording for this was for one person, hey, can you meet with me at a certain time? And that person, because they're easygoing, said, yes, that's great. I can move stuff around. And then the other person immediately said no, and then gave me 2 times that I could pick. So it's out of respect also. And I do feel like sometimes the people that are the meanest to other people just don't respect them. Because if you respect somebody and they're like in a person of someone high up, in your mind, you are going to speak a little bit more respectfully to them and not, be ugly to them. Don't you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think a lot of times we can get intimidated by somebody, but then some people can get intimidated by you, in a sense, because, if you're off the wall like I am, I'm like free spirited. Hey, let's, whatever, let's go party, you know, and somebody comes along and they are really reserved and they don't know how to take you, and they are, kind of one word, when you ask them a question and you're trying to break the nut, so to speak, to try to somewhere trying to get in there to find some semblance or some common ground of, and you just can't find it. And you know that if you could be on the same common ground, you could understand each other a little bit better. So sometimes that just does not play to your, just saying, everybody's different.
Yes.
Everybody's different. Some people have charisma, some people, are introverted, some people whatever, but it takes a lot of I want to say the word, but I'm not going to say the word. It takes a lot of guts.
That's a good word. Yeah, use that one.
Yeah, guts. It takes a lot of guts for some people to say some things and think that they can get away with it.
Yeah.
You just need, we need to realize that, people, they may, on their exterior, may seem to be cold and, frosty, and you can't penetrate the heart kind of thing, but people have feelings. I
Yeah.
don't care who you are,
Right.
so we need to be careful about things that we say and thinking it's funny. It's not funny to everybody. You have to
Right.
be really careful about who you say that to, say
Yeah.
things to. So
Yeah, definitely. Because, and the point of boundaries is, what your boundaries are. Everybody knows what their boundaries are. And, but not everybody else knows that. So, like, for something that, I could say to Amy may hurt her feelings, whereas if she said it to me, it would not hurt my feelings. So it's, it kind of goes, you have to get to know somebody. That's the real point in it. You've got to have a relationship with them, because then you kind of know what their tipping points are. And even if it's, you think it's something really dumb that they're, getting upset about, it's not dumb to them. And so we need to have feelings for them, but also don't just run over people and disrespect them, because I think that's my biggest pet peeve is disrespect. But yet, you know, sometimes I will let people disrespect me just because I want to keep the peace. So, so boundaries, just set your boundaries. And once people go out of those boundaries or go within your boundaries, then just, stand up for yourself. Because we're not supposed to be, we are royalty because we were born in the, in God's family, and He has saved us, and we are going to heaven, and we have all the authority that God has. He's given that to us when we're saved. So we should be proud of ourselves. We should think highly of ourselves, not in a condescending way to others, but just know that we're important. And if people try to be ugly to us and put us down, also think of the other person. They may be going through something at the time. Don't jump to conclusions on, yelling or screaming at them when you're hurt. Just kind of, if you know that person in your relationship with them, you can kind of see where they're going on that day. But
Well,
you
I
have something
appreciate
else.
it. Yeah, I do. I appreciate when people are honest. If I've said something that they come to me and say, I don't really understand where you were coming from on that. We can take it as, oh gosh, they're questioning me, which is prideful. Okay. Or we can say, I said that, and really be honest about why you said it. There may be some hidden things that you were feeling. You know what I'm saying? That you really need to get out, and you need to say it. It doesn't do anybody any good, especially as friends, to let things fester, because when they fester, it just gets bigger and bigger, and then your mind just goes crazy, and then you have come to a point, just like with in my family, saying that I had a big old bottom. It had festered for a long time, and then it came out. Thankfully, it came out in the right way, but you understand that there have been times in our lives where things have festered and then you exploded,
Right.
you know. So I think that I appreciate it when people think enough of me to question and say, where are you coming from that? It takes guts. We should not walk on eggshells around people. We should be able to, be respectful and kind and considerate of people. And when there are problems that arise and somebody has overstepped your boundary, that you're able to speak and say it in truth. And it's not like you're fighting against flesh and blood. We're not fighting against, there's things that we can't see that are, that are absolutely trying to make the situation worse than it
Mhm.
is. We need to recognize that and realize that, Brandy, you're not an enemy to me. You're not an enemy. You're my good friend. I love you, and I want to make this right. So when we
Yeah.
look at it that
Not that me
way,
and Amy are having a problem, just in case y'all are wondering.
no, not at all. Not at all. But I'm just saying, you know, we need to respect each other enough to recognize, that if there's problems, then we really need to not let them fester, and don't need anybody to breach over our boundaries. We do need to stand up for ourselves. And when something is wrong, then it's okay to speak. We don't need to let people uh, get away with something they keep on doing, because that doesn't do you any good.
Right. Yeah, and just, care about people, because I think if you care and you come at it with, the way Jesus looks at people, um, you're going, we all have faults, but, if you look at them with Jesus's eyes and how he thinks of us, then you won't want to say anything, horrible to someone because you love them. And I think that's, we react on different things because of different emotions, environment, and everything, but we just need to get back to loving people. And, your boundaries are your boundaries. And just make sure that, you speak truth, like Amy said, about everything. And then you don't have to backtrack, and you don't have to, to make up for it, because what you said was the truth and that was the way you're feeling.
Well, and I'll say this too, because sometimes people, sometimes you have to back off from people, because they're not hearing you, they're not sympathizing with you, they keep on doing it, And I think of that scripture, and I have to read this, but it says, whoever shall not receive you, when Jesus was telling them to go out, the disciples to go out, and he was saying, if they don't receive you, nor hear your words of what you're doing, it says, what are you supposed to do? Shake off the dust. Shake off the dust. And sometimes I believe that when somebody's intentionally always attacking you, you do not need to stay at relationship. You need to back off. And I've had to do that in my life. Some relationships are good. We always told our son, it's like, people are either pointing you to the Lord or away from the Lord. People either point you, make you hurt, or they don't make you hurt. They're like life to you, or they're death, and you've got to be able to decipher that. You've got to be able, and it's okay to shake the dust off of your feet and say, I can't deal with this anymore. It doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean that you don't like them. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't help them if they needed you, but you don't have to spend your time with them.
Right. It exhausts you.
It exhausts you, and to lead you into total depression when they don't heed your words, and they don't change. You just need to shake the dust off your feet and say, you know what, that's okay. I'm done. I'll love them. I'll pray for them. And that's what we're supposed to do, is to pray for them. And God, Jesus was, he came to reconcile people. Okay. But not everybody accepted him.
Mm-mm.
Not everybody agreed with him. There are a lot of people that were pain to him. He couldn't get through to them. And he wanted so much for them to recognize who he was, what he came for, but not everybody did that.
Right.
Not everybody's going to do that in our lives either. They're not always going to understand. They're not always going to believe. They're not always going to, want to be your friend. Sometimes we grow out of seasons with our friends. So just saying. Anyway.
Yeah, and if you are around those people for very long, it can steal your joy, and it can steal your productivity to go out and to reach more people, because you are beat down and you don't feel like, giving other people the light of Jesus when you're not feeling that. So that is definitely a true statement, to where just, sometimes it's a season to where you stay away from them for a little while. But, just with all this, we just wanted to talk about this because it is something that we all go through. And, some people, it seems like, have a little bit more people that pick at them often. I don't know what that reasoning is, but just know that stand your boundaries, stand up for yourself, be true, speak the truth, and pray a lot and ask God for guidance on that. And, just get in your Bible, because the closer you are to God, the more advice he will give you. And you'll be able to, pray for boldness if that's something that you struggle with. So I hope that helps somebody out there. And as always, just subscribe to our channel. And if you need to, reach us about anything or get us to talk about something, just email us below. But thanks, guys. See you later with the boundary. Oh, mine were out of the thing. There we go. All right, bye.
Bye.